Okay, revolutionaries, we are live today. I showed up, even though I'm at my lake house. I'm at my lake house this whole week. I'm going to be going live from the lake house, little office in here the whole week. I always tell my wife, I'm like, I don't like this background in this lake house. We need to put in something a little bit better, but she just doesn't listen to me. What are you going to do with women? What are you going to do? All right, so today we are going to focus on what questions do you actually need to ask and why to actually get through the gatekeeper to the decision maker when you're actually cold calling. Okay. So if you're getting a lot of objections like, you know what, we're good. We're not interested. We don't need it. We already have something like that. I'm not interested. Or can you call me back in a week, a month, a year later? Then this training is probably for you. All right. So I want you to grab your pen and a piece of paper. We're going to go through this for the next 20, 25 minutes or so. Now, also, if you are brand new to our Facebook group, okay, let me make sure that I'm live here on the Facebook group. I feel all awkward not being in my office. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? Okay. So, okay. Yep. We're live for sure. Okay, so if you're brand new to our Facebook group or if you're on YouTube right now and you're watching this, first of all, if you're YouTube, we're going to send you a Sales Revolution Facebook group join link so you can join us over at Sales Revolution to get a lot more training like this 3 or 4 times a week in Q&A. You're welcome to be on there if you want to learn more how to sell more of your products and services. Now, if you're brand new to the group as well, or maybe you're watching us on YouTube right now, I am the founder and chairman of an organization, a company that's called Seventh Level. Okay, one of the fastest growing companies in the United States, according to the Inc. 5000 list. We're number 1,232 fastest growing companies in the U.S. in the last 12 months. In our industry, we are the number 1 fastest growing sales training company in the United States, according to the Inc. 5000. But who cares about us? You only care about you. I know, right? So we help people like you. We help salespeople, sales professionals, coaches, sales executives, business leaders, entrepreneurs, and we help you by transforming the way you and your team sell by learning specific skills and questions, very important, that work with human behavior. What does that mean? Rather than work against it. That's an important distinction, okay? We call those neuro-emotional persuasion questions, stands for NEPQ. We teach you the right tonality to put your prospects at ease, eliminate sales pressure, and get your prospects to actually want to open up to you. Can you imagine your prospects wanting to engage with you, wanting to be open up to you, even on a cold call? Can you imagine that? It can be done once you learn the right skills that work with human behavior. Now, a lot of you hit us up every day in DMs. You're like, help me, train me. I want to sell more of my products and services. If that's you, and you want to have more advanced skills, so you can sell a lot more of your products and services than you are now, like we've done for thousands of our clients at this point, and increased almost 700 million increased sales in the last 12 months from our clients, according to their records, not ours. If that's you, in the comment section, post #NEPQ. Do you guys have a good training background for clients selling solar? We do. We train tons of companies. Probably one of the top salespeople in the United States we train. His name's Joseph Robert. He makes over $100,000 a month in commissions going door to door, cold calling. Okay, so yes, whoever asked that question, I can't see who asked that. It just says Facebook user here on where I'm at. So if that's you, in the comment section, you want to learn more advanced skills to sell more of your products and services, just post #NEPQ. Post #NEPQ, and either myself or our CEO, Matt, or our VP of Sales, Marco, will message you more details to see if we can help you, okay? Now, if you're on the live right now, I want you to go down to your phone, down to the comment section, and I want you to post #live. So if you're on live right now, I'm not going to train anybody. I'm not going to train you these skills without you going down to the comment section, and I want you to post #live. So go right now. I'm going to hold everybody up. Go down, post #live. And if you're on the replay, I want you to post #replay. I'm not training anybody to go down to your phone and do that. Post #live if you're on live. If you're on the replay, post #replay. Now, also, each one of you, I'm going to have you go down there. See that little heart button and like button? I want you to go smash the heart button 3 times each, maybe 4. I'll give you bonus material. And I want you to smash the like button. So go smash the like button. Smash the heart button several times. I'm not training anybody these advanced skills without you smashing the heart button and smashing the like button. We got several of you doing it here. You guys are going to get the skills that pay the bills. So smash the heart button, smash the like button. The reason why I have you guys do that is it creates more engagement in the group, and more people in our Facebook group are able to see this. Folks, this group is growing massively. We have almost 10,500 people in this group in the last 9 months alone. It's growing very, very rapidly. So if we don't have people that can see this as much, we don't help as many people. Okay, so hit the comment section, hashtag live if you're on the live, hashtag replay if you're on the replay, smash the heart button, smash the like button. Okay, let's get into the good stuff now. I want you to take notes. We're going to focus on cold calling. So if you're a cold caller, or if you want to learn how to pick up your phone because none of your appointments are showing up, or you don't have leads and you need to cold call, this is a skill you must acquire. So most likely, if you've ever done any cold calling in your career, you have learned the very hard way, very painful way, that contrary to what all these sales gurus have said and traditional sales training programs you've probably gone through, that you know that you can't just overcome your fear and anxiety of cold calling by having thick skin, being more positive, like I'm really positive, I'm journaling every day, meditating, or popping in a Tony Robbins CD to get you pumped up, or listening to a podcast. Folks, it tends to wear off very quickly when the prospect answers the phone and you don't know what to ask that triggers them to actually want to open up to you, and you get smacked in the face. You probably know what I'm talking about, okay? So according to that way of thinking, that old school selling philosophy, the purpose of all of your calls, make that appointment, make that sale, it's a numbers game. You just got to get as many no's to get to that one yes. Well, I guess you can do that if you don't want to sell that much, okay? What's the problem with that way of thinking? It's all about you and your agenda of wanting to make the sale. Now, I understand that you've got great intentions. You've got a great product. You've got a great service. You're noble. You're rooted in the desire to really help your prospects, and you want to really get them in. But your prospects don't know that. They just view you as another pushy salesperson that's trying to stuff your solution down their throat. Then they throw you over to the side and they commoditize you. Ask yourself this: when a salesperson calls you and they're cold calling, can you feel that their only agenda is to sell you something? You bet you can. How many other calls from salespeople do you think, and be real here, do you think your prospects get on a weekly or daily basis? They are getting daily cold calls. Salespeople call them every day, pitching their products or services, and magically, they all claim that their products or services are the very best. How many salespeople that have tried to sell to you have told you, oh yeah, our product is 5th best in the market? No one does. They all say they have the best. Because of that dynamic, your prospects have become overly sensitive when the phone rings and they pick it up and they answer it and it's someone they don't know. The defensive wall freaking comes up quick, okay? Your prospects are automatically skeptical about the salesperson who's calling them. They've gotten very good at reading the subtle and not so subtle signals that come from your words and your tone of voice, your tonality. This is how prospects can feel if the caller is just trying to sell them something. Your goal here is to not sound like every other salesperson who calls them on a daily basis. Here's one thing you have to realize. This is just behavioral science and human psychology 101. Within the first 7 to 12 seconds of every single sales call or sales interaction you are involved in, doesn't matter if it's in person, on the phone, on Zoom, door to door, B2B, in a building, does not matter. Your prospects are subconsciously picking up on your verbal and your nonverbal cues from your tonality and what you are saying and or asking that triggers their brain to react in one of two ways. Write this down. Very important. Make sure you listen. If you come across aggressive, assumptive, needy, and attached, and you don't know the right questions to ask, well, what does it do? It triggers their brain to go into what we call fight or flight mode. What does that mean? That's where they try to get rid of you very fast. And they say things like this: I'm too busy. Can you call me back later? We don't need it. We're not interested. We already have that. We don't have the money for that. I'm good. I'm interested. Can you call me back in a week, a month, a year later? Now, for the love of Mary, do you want to change that? Does that ever happen to you? Well, now you're starting to know why. Now we have to fix that. Now, if you come across more neutral, you come across more unbiased and detached, and you ask the right questions, you have to know what those questions are, though. It triggers their brain to become so curious that they feel like they want to engage, that they want to open up to you, as you might have something that's actually very important to them. So we have to come across detached from the expectations of making the sale and really focus on whether or not we can actually help them, whether that or not they have problems that we can solve. Now, do I mean that you should get on a call and not make a sale? Hell no. Your goal is to make a sale on every call, or at least a commitment to move forward in maybe a next call. It just depends on your industry, your product, or your service. But you have to keep that to yourself. The moment your prospects feel like you are trying to sell them is the moment that they shut down, especially on a cold call. That's because your prospects hear it every day. So they get suspicious when they hear you sound like every other cold caller. You just don't stand out. And then what happens? They reject you and they turn you down. This is what you're going up against every day when you're cold calling. Now, let's talk about this first, and I'm going to give you some samples. Why do cold calls break down in a matter of seconds? Let me tell you why. 99% of salespeople start out with a predictable sales pitch, close their eyes, and keep talking, hoping and praying that the other person stays on the line to listen to the pitch. Oh my God, we cannot keep doing that if you want to be successful in sales and make hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. What do you think is going on in the person's mind when you're calling them and doing a sales pitch? What goes on in your mind when a salesperson calls you and proceeds to go into their solution? You do what? You get defensive and you look for ways to get rid of that salesperson. Cold calls break down most of the time for the simple fact that the prospect feels that you are trying to stuff your solution down their throat. Now, why is that? You see, it's because of the momentum that we are trying to impose on them triggers sales resistance, and in our nature, self-defense mechanisms that our prospects use to protect themselves from what they feel is an intrusion. Just so you know how our brains work. Prospects reject salespeople when they feel sales pressure from someone who doesn't know anything about their world and their situation and just wants to pitch products and services. So when your prospect says no or hangs up on you on a cold call, they are trying to protect themselves from what they view as an attack from an outsider. Now, there's a solution to solve that. Can actually get the gatekeeper to help you and want to get you the decision maker, and it involves letting go of your attachment of making the sale and instead focus on whether there's a sale to even be made in that conversation. To succeed, you'll need to be exclusively focused on their needs, their problems, their issues, their challenges, nothing about you in the beginning. When you do this, your prospects will begin to feel that they can trust you, and you start to disarm them and diffuse the sales pressure out of the conversation. Now, what do most sales people do when they start off a cold call? Let me see what you do. I'm going to give you an example. ABC Services, this is Amanda. How can we help you? Hi, my name is Sam, and I'm with the XYZ company. And what we do is, or hi, my name is Sam, I'm with the XYZ company. And the reason why I called your company today was, and then you go into your solution and the features and benefits. This only offers your solution, doesn't focus on whether they even have problems. And this approach is what 99% of companies and sales trainers train salespeople to do in cold calling. And then they just say, it's just a numbers game. You got to call hundreds of people to get, 50 no's to get that one yes. That's basically like them saying, what we train you doesn't really work, so you're just going to have to work your butt off. That's really what they're saying. It's the old introduce yourself, tell them what company you're from, and then tell them a few benefits, hoping and praying that somehow it's going to build enough value where they want to keep listening. The problem is that we live in 2021 and people don't go for that anymore. Very rare, okay? So what happens usually when prospects are approached with that way? Same thing. We don't need it. We don't want it. We can't afford it. We already have it. We're good. Call me back a week, a month, a year later. The sale is actually lost at hello. So how do we solve that? I'm going to give you a few examples. Now, first of all, I want you to write these down because there's some mechanics that I'm going to show you today that you've probably never heard of unless you're one of our clients who's in our virtual training courses like NEPQ 2.0, Advanced NEPQ 3.0, which has all the cold calling training. And I think over 3 hours of that 22-hour course is just on cold calling. So I'm just giving you a little nibble. I'm giving you like 1% of 1% today, okay? You see, cold calling doesn't have to be stressful. Let me repeat that. Cold calling doesn't have to be stressful. All it takes is the right skills and a little preparation. So I'm going to give you 3 easy steps and exercises to get yourself in that way of thinking. So first of all, I want you to think about the words or behaviors that would cause your prospect to view you with the negative stereotypical version of a salesperson. You want to eliminate that. You don't want to sound like everybody else. Also, I want you to think about the problems or challenges your prospects you call have and how your solution actually solves those. Exercise number 1. I want you to understand how you're coming across. It's important that we understand how we are coming across. We have to put ourselves in our buyer's shoes first and foremost. My good friend, Jerry Acuff, who our book is just done. It's now being edited, The New Model of Selling, How to Sell to an Unsellable Generation. He teaches in his book, I believe it's called Stop Acting Like a Seller and Start Thinking Like a Buyer. It's very appropriate for our day and age. First, I want you to practice in front of the mirror several times. Pay attention to how you sound. Pay attention to your tonality. Do you sound scripted or do you sound natural? Next, record yourself. Pay attention to your tonality, your delivery. Does it sound natural, like an actor or actress, or does it sound scripted like a telemarketer? Ugh, you don't want to be like that. Now, record yourself talking to a prospect, and then I want you to record yourself talking to a family member, maybe a friend or an associate. Do you notice the difference how you talk to them? When you're talking to a prospect, do you sound nervous, talk fast, sound excited compared to talking to your friend? This is something that you want to stay away from if you want to be really successful in sales and make a lot of money. Exercise 2, prepare what's called a problem statement, okay? We teach all of this in our virtual training course. I'm giving you like 1% of this right now. If you want to really become great at cold calling and got to get our virtual training, you'll make hundreds of thousands of dollars a year if you do. Create the problem statement by listing the top 3 problems that your solution solves for their prospects. So write down the top 3 problems on a piece of paper right now that your solution solves for your prospects. Now, those 3, which do you think your prospects can identify with the most? Meaning, when you call your prospects, most would know about this problem. They're like, oh yeah, I know about that. Or they, at least it's on their radar. Okay, something that maybe they go to bed at night thinking, or they wake up in the morning like, man, I really got to solve this. Like they just know about this problem in that industry. Okay. Step number 2 is prepare for the call. You have to prepare for your calls every day. Yeah, for sure. You can't just wing it. Okay. Remind yourself that the purpose of your call is to create a 2-way conversation with that prospect to see if you can help them. On every call, your goal is to create a 2-way conversation with the prospect to see if you can help them. You're going to relax. You're going to be confident. I call that collective confidence. It's called certainty, collective certainty. Okay. Step number 3, you're going to make the call. Keep in mind your main agenda is, remember, opening up the 2-way conversation by disarming the prospect, not by making a pitch or trying to close a deal in the first couple of minutes. You're going to create curiosity from the prospect to get them to want to engage in the conversation. You're going to remove the sales pressure, and you're going to find out what problems they have, what caused the problem, like the root cause, and then how it's affecting them to see if you can help them. Okay, now you're going to open the call in 4 steps. When the prospect answers the phone, you're going to begin with something like this. Now I'm going to give you different examples of if the prospect answers the phone that you're trying to get a hold of, maybe you're calling a smaller type of business and you just have their contact information, compared to if the gatekeeper answers the phone, maybe the secretary, maybe the admin, okay? Because there's differences and you have to tweak that and you have to know the difference. It's very important, all right? So let's say the actual prospect answers the phone. Hi, this is Jeremy. Hey, Jeremy, it's just Alex. We haven't met yet. I was wondering if you could possibly help me out for a moment. Now, notice how I act confused. I act like the old man in the gas station who doesn't have GPS and he's confused about where to go. I'm dead serious. When you act confused on a cold call, human behavior does what? They want to help you. Notice my tonality. If you say, hi, is this Alex? Hi, John. We haven't met yet. I was wondering if you could help me out for a moment. If you sound scripted, they're going to know you're trying to sell them something. It has to sound natural. You have to rehearse this. Hi, this is just Alex. I was wondering if you could possibly help me out for a moment. Now, you know what they're going to say 9 times out of 10? Sure, how can I help you? Or sure, I'd love to help you. How can I help you? Okay. They're going to say, or they're going to say one of 3 things. They're going to say, sure, how can I help you? Or they're going to say, who is this? Or they're going to say, what's this all about? I'm sorry. Now, I'm going to show you how to respond to that in a minute. In this version, let's say you reach the actual decision maker. Okay, so if you reach the actual decision maker, you would say this after the initial opening of, I was wondering if you could possibly help me out for a moment. So when you say, I was wondering if you could possibly help me out for a moment, and they say, sure, how can I help you? What do you say next? Here's what you say. I'm going to give you 3 or 4 different versions. You can write this down. Well, I'm not sure if we could even help you yet. I called to see if your company would be open to looking at any possible hidden gaps in your blank that could be causing you to blank. So let me repeat that. Look at my tone. Hear my tonality. Well, I'm not sure if we could even help you yet. I called to see if your company would be open to looking at any possible hidden gaps in your blank that could be causing you to blank. So you're going to fill that in compared to your industry. Okay, and I'm going to show you some industry different examples here. Then I'm going to show you 6 different industries and show you how it's structured. That way you can combine it for what you sell. Or you could say this, well, I'm not quite sure if you're the person that's responsible for looking at any issues around your blank that could be causing your company to blank. Now, the problem and what it's causing them, you have to plug that in. Or you could do it this way. Well, I'm not quite sure you could yet. I called to see if your company would be open to looking at any possible issues in your blank that could be causing you to blank. Okay. Or, well, I'm not quite sure if we could even help you. I called to see if your company would be open to a different perspective around blank that could be causing you to actually blank. What is that? Or if the gatekeeper answers and you don't know. So let me give an example. Let's say the gatekeeper answers, Wanda. And you don't know the name of the decision maker. You're just randomly calling a company, but you don't know who's over that. Here's how it would look like. Okay, let me take a drink of water here. ABC company, how can we help you? Hey, Mary, this is just Jeremy Miner. I was wondering if you could possibly help me out for a moment. Now, why do I pause there? Because when you pause, it drags the listener in. It triggers them to pay attention. If I said, hey, Mary, this is just Jeremy Miner. I was wondering if you could possibly help me out for a moment. It's a knee-jerk question, and they're going to give you a knee-jerk reaction. But if I say, hey, Mary, this is just Jeremy Miner. I was wondering if you could possibly help me out for a moment. Sure, how can I help you? Draws them in. Now, why do I say this is just Jeremy Miner, or this is just Alex Miller, or this is just Amy Miner, or whatever? Why do I say this is just? Because in the English language, the word just implies that they should already know who you are. You see how that works? It's very important. Now, they're going to say, sure, how can I help you? Well, I contacted your company to see if Mary Jane over at the marketing department was available, as I understand that she's responsible for looking at any issues around your company's blank that could be causing them to blank. Would that be Mary, or who should I be talking to? Let's say if you knew the name of the person, okay? Now, if you don't know the name of the prospect you're trying to reach in the gatekeeper answers, let me show you how that would be different. After you say, wondering if you could possibly help me out for a moment, you say this. Well, I'm not quite sure you could yet. I called to see who in your company is responsible for looking at any possible issues in blank that could be causing the company to blank. I guess who should I be communicating to that's over those type of issues? I didn't understand. Okay, let me do that again. Well, I'm not quite sure you could yet. I called to see who in your company is responsible for looking at any possible issues or gaps in your blank that could be causing the company to blank. I guess who should I be communicating to that's, I guess, over that type of issue? And you act confused. And they're like, oh, yeah, it's Leslie Jane. Let me transfer you over to her. You'd be surprised how they just say that. Oh, yeah, that's Leslie. I can transfer it over her now. And boom, 8 out of 10 times, they just freaking transfer you right over because it's just a question. Who's responsible for blank? I'm not talking about my solution at all. Most of the time, they don't even ask what we do, okay? Or you can say it like this. Well, I'm not quite sure you could yet. I called to see if your company is grappling with any issues around blank that could be causing them to blank. See how that works? Okay, now let me give you a few industry-specific examples. First, I'm going to give you the generic version, and then I'm going to give you about 5 or 6 different industry examples, like specific. That way you can see how it's structured. Is that helping everybody so far? Okay, good. Okay, so in this example, let's say the prospect answers, or say somebody answers, but you don't know who you should be talking to. Okay, I'm just going to give you this is a generic example, not industry specific. Okay, then I'm going to give you the specific ones. They answer, how can I help you? Yeah, this is just Alex Miller. I was wondering if you could possibly help me out for a moment. Sure, yeah, how can we help you, Alex? Well, I'm not quite sure if you're the right person that's over this. I called to see if your company would be open to looking at any possible hidden gaps, like issues in your blank that could be causing you to blank. Or now you're going to let the prospect respond. Now they're usually going to say, well, who is this again? Or what's this all about? Or what do you mean by hidden gaps? And then you're going to say this. And I want you to write this down. This is very important that you don't actually miss this. You're going to fall on your sword. You're going to be like, oh, yeah, I apologize. I didn't mean to offend you. And you know what they're going to say? Oh, no, you didn't offend me. See how that works? When you apologize and say, oh, I didn't mean to offend you, guess what most of the prospects say? Oh, no, you didn't offend me. And then they do what? They start to pull you in. They come to your rescue. It's human behavior. You're using techniques and questions that work with human behavior to disarm your prospect and get them to pull you in. Who is this or what's this all about? Oh, yeah, I apologize. I didn't mean to offend you. What I do is how, okay? And then you go into what's called a personalized intro that goes over how what you do helps other people solve their problems. Okay, now we don't have time to get into that. If you're in a virtual training courses, we have all that training back there. Hours and hours of it. Okay, I'm just giving you a little tip of the iceberg right now. Let me give you examples. Let's say if you sold merchant services, okay, you could talk like this. Yeah, this is just Bart. I was wondering if you could possibly help me out for a moment. Sure, how can we help you, Bart? Well, I'm not quite sure if you're the right person. I stopped by to see if your company would be open to looking at any possible any gaps or hidden gaps in your accounts payable that could be causing you to overpay every month. Or something like this. Yeah, this is just Chris. I was wondering if you could possibly help me out for a moment. Sure, how can we help you? Well, I'm not quite sure you could yet. I called to see if your company would be open to looking at any, I guess, hidden gaps with some of your vendors that could be causing you to overpay every month. Now, what do you think they're going to say? Well, what do you mean by overpay every month? Or what do you mean by that? Oh, I apologize. I didn't mean to offend you. What I do is how a lot of companies, and then you go in your personalized intro, okay? Then there's situation questions after that, which you have to learn. Okay, this is just the tip of the iceberg, okay? Now, let's say if you're in data analytics sales, training a lot of companies in that space. Oh, yeah, this is just Zach Wilson. I was wondering if you could possibly help me out for a moment. Use your body language and you do that, even if you're on the phone, because it affects your tonality. If I say, hi, this is Zach. I was wondering if you could possibly help me out for a moment. I'm stiff like a board. Your tonality comes through the call, okay? Yeah, sure, how can we help you? Well, I'm not quite sure that you could yet. I called to see if your company would be open to looking at any possible hidden gaps, like issues in your claims adjustment process that could be causing you to lose some of your customers every year. Okay, what do you mean by losing customers every year? Oh, I apologize. I didn't mean. See how that works. Let's say in your medical device sales. See, it doesn't matter the industry. We train hundreds of industries how to do this. Does not matter. Train hundreds of industries how to sell A to Z, from the cold call or inbound lead, outbound lead, doesn't matter. A to Z, all the way to close in the process, doesn't matter. Yeah, it's just Amy. I was wondering if you could possibly help me out for a moment. Sure. How can we help you? Well, I'm not quite sure you could yet. I stopped by to see if your office would be open to looking at any possible, hidden gaps in your knee implants that your doctors are using that could be causing the practice to have to overspend on operative time. See how that works? What do you mean by overspend on operative time? Or how about this? Yeah, this is just Brett Wilson. I was wondering if you could possibly help me out for a moment. Sure, how can we help you? Well, I'm not quite sure if you're the right person to ask. I called to see if your office, I guess, would be open to looking at any, hidden gaps in your flu or strep testing that could be causing you to lose some of your patients every month. Well, what do you mean by losing patients? Triggers curiosity, engagement. See how that works? Let's say if you sold legal services, you'd go through, I was wondering if you could help me out for a moment. Well, I'm not quite sure you could yet. I called to see if your company would be open to looking at any possible issues in your contract review process, any gaps that could be causing the company to be more at risk. Well, what do you mean by risk? Or who's this again? Let's say if you sold employee and benefit services, same part of the first structure, then, well, I'm not quite sure who I should be talking to. I called to see, I guess, who would be responsible for any issues involving how you might be providing health insurance for some of your employees that could be causing you to overpay every month. Well, what do you mean by overpaying every month? How about lead or advertising services? Same part of the process in the beginning. Well, I'm not quite sure you could yet. I called to see if your company would be open to looking at any, I guess, possible hidden gaps in your leads that you're getting, that process that might be causing you to lose potential jobs every week. Let's say if you're a plumber or a technician. See how you do that? Let's say if you sold fundraising services. It does not matter. This is for nonprofits. Well, I'm not quite sure if you could yet. I came by the school to see if the school would be open to looking at any, I guess, possible hidden gaps, in issues in your fundraising that you're doing that could be causing the school to lose out on money they could be getting. See, I when I talk about hidden gaps, I lower my voice, I get serious, it pulls them in more. See how you do that? Your tonality can do that. Let's say if you sold financial services to high net worth investors. Well, I'm not quite sure you could yet. I called to see if your firm would be open to looking at any possible hidden gaps, in your pension funds for your employees that might be putting some of their capital at risk right now with the market. See how that would work? Okay. All right. I hope that helped you today. Enjoy it. Make sure you go back and listen to the replay. It's very important. Now, tomorrow, I will tell you, I will be going live tomorrow. Like I do every Wednesday, we always go live every week with 1 to 2 new clients every single week, week after week after week. We've interviewed, 60, 70, 80 clients out of the thousands of testimonials we have. Folks, I'm not sure you're aware. Did you know that we have 4,047 testimonials at this point? 4,047 in the last 3 years, not even 3 years. Most of those have come in the last 2 years, okay? If you want to be like those type of people who are making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year as a sales professional, or maybe they own the business and now they're scaling and making 8 figures and 9 figures or even higher, in the comment section, post hashtag NEPQ in the comment section, freaking gold, somebody said, you're welcome. And either me or Matt Ryder, our CEO, or Marco Cortese, our VP, will message you more details to see if we can help you. I'm going to go live tomorrow in this group. Make sure you turn your notifications on. I'm going to go live in this group tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern. We're going to break down this person's sales process and how he went from brand new in sales, never selling anything, making $0 to within 90 days, got up to $15,000 a month in commissions. And now 3 months from that is averaging over $20,000 to $25,000 a month in commissions. How the hell does somebody go from 0 to 15 to 25 grand within 4, 5, 6 months? It's because they're learning the right skills. And this person's still learning. 6 months from now, he'll be making 30, 35 grand a month or more in commissions, exactly with what he sells. Now, also, go ahead and follow me on my IG account. We just opened up a new IG account that's focused on daily tips. Besides going live in here, I also go live on my IG account during the week. So you can follow me at The Real Jeremy Miner. The Real, R-E-A-L, Jeremy, J-E-R-E-M-Y, The Real Jeremy Miner. I'm going to post it in here, the comments. So I want you to go ahead and follow me now, real quick. The Real Jeremy Miner. So go to IG, follow me now on The Real Jeremy Miner. All right. So I'm going to have somebody post that here in the comment section on the Facebook group. Go ahead and on the Facebook group, Chris or Luke or Valerie, somebody in the group, go ahead and post the new IG account that we posted in there that's just for salespeople, entrepreneurs, business owners with more sales tips and tactics. So go ahead and follow me now at The Real Jeremy Miner. That's M-I-N-E-R. Make sure you spell it right. The Real Jeremy Miner. I'll see everybody tomorrow. Thanks, everybody. Make it a great day. Talk to you soon.